So you realize that you have to start the transition process for your student, for your child, and you're going to go to the IEP team meeting where you want to bring the subject up. Well, there's several ways in which you can bring that subject up, and we want to talk to you about those.
You know, it's so interesting to me how many times parents don't know how to get these conversations started. And unfortunately, how many IEPs I've participated in where this is the first one where you're supposed to be talking about transition for the student, and what happens is it gets to the end of the meeting and some administrator says, going through the boxes on the paperwork and says, oh, we're supposed to be talking about transition. What does he want to be when he wants to grow up, okay? That's not necessarily the kind of comprehensive programming that transition services under the IDA has in mind, okay? So one thing that Julie and I want you to do is in advance of that IEP meeting, when you know that transition services are going to be discussed or should be discussed, send an email or a note or even an agenda to whoever chairs your child's IEP team meeting, just saying, just a reminder, this is the meeting where we're supposed to be talking about transition, and put it right out there in advance, because many people who chair IEP team meetings chair a whole lot of them, and they simply may not know until they're sitting in that meeting. But you as the parent do know in advance, and you should be getting them thinking about it because you are too.
And you know, Jen, another really good tip is that you might want to have a transition meeting that's exclusively dedicated to transition. And so each state is different, and you would need to familiarize yourself with the paperwork in your state, in the IEP team paperwork, that document of what areas are covered in the paperwork on transition. And you might want to have that paperwork in front of you at the meeting and ask the team to dedicate the IEP team meeting to transition.
It's an excellent idea, because if you know in advance that one of the questions that's on the form is, have any assessments been done to ascertain what the transition needs are for the student, you don't want to be thinking about it for the first time when you're sitting in that meeting. You want to have already read that, looked at the form, and say, okay, now I'm thinking about it. Have we done any assessments, so that you are part of the conversation that's answering those questions? You don't want to be in a situation, Julie, where the rest of the team knows these questions are coming up, but you don't.
Yeah, it's a terrible position to be in, and we just want to make sure that you start the conversation and bring it up at the meeting.
And one last thing, Julie, that parents should do is many school districts, more and more, are actually having someone whose job it is to be the transition coordinator, the point person, for lack of a better word, on transition for the students in the district. And if you get the invitation to your child's IEP team meeting, that is the meeting where transition is supposed to be discussed, or is one of the meetings where transition is supposed to be discussed, and you don't see that person's name listed, it's not a hard thing to ask that they be invited to the meeting, so that you have the person there who's the most knowledgeable, or should be the most knowledgeable, about resources surrounding transition in your child's school district.
And you know, Jen, that brings up a good point, because in some cases it may not be somebody who works for the school district and a dedicated person from the school district. Some school districts are small enough where they may not have a individual person who just deals with transition, and they might consult those services out.
Yeah,
but you need to find out who is that person who should be invited to the meeting.